In December 2014, a group of 15 students from the University of Akron traveled to Haiti and visited a school called Institution Univers. Zeke Isaac, who is originally from Haiti, created the project for his honors thesis with the help of Kevin Smith from the Institute of Leadership and Dr. Maria, the head of the French section in the Department of Modern Languages. Zeke talks about the initial steps of the project.
About a year and a half ago, I took part in an honors project with two other members, and our goal was to do sustainable farming in Haiti. And it turned out that that was not going to work out, and the two other members graduated. And right after they graduated, I decided I wanted to keep the focus on Haiti and do another honors project. So I met with Dr. Hanlon and Kevin from the College of Business, and they suggested that I keep the focus on Haiti just like I had thought previously. And we decided that together that we were going to organize a student trip and take some students from the University of Akron community and take them to Haiti.
During the study abroad trip, the students developed leadership skills, participated in service, and were immersed in Haitian culture. They purchased and assembled 5 benches for the school grounds and bought supplies to paint many portions of the school. They also taught English club at the school. Meeting the Haitian people and visiting historic sites, the students were able to experience their culture firsthand. Some students spoke of their experiences.
Going into college, we both really wanted to study abroad. It's an experience we were really looking forward to. Didn't know how to do it exactly because we didn't have a ton of extra funds, so we started looking around the school this past year.
One of the things we found was that there was a trip and Zeke was going to take a bunch of students to Haiti. And I was actually one of the first people that went to an informational meeting, and I was the only one there. So we really had no expectation of what was going to happen or what the trip would be like. But let me tell you, it was so worthwhile to just go all in and give it a shot. So it was awesome.
So we had to make a decision. We decided to buy in. We were really nervous visiting a third world country, but it was so worth it. No regrets in the end.
We knew that one of the things we were going to be doing was going to the Citadel, which was a big military fortress in Haiti that they used to use way back when. And to get to it, you have to climb up a mountain. And we're all about that kind of stuff. So we were like, that would be so cool. But we didn't know if we would actually be doing the whole hike because we didn't know if everyone could do that or not. We didn't know. So we were definitely pleasantly surprised when we learned that we were going to be doing the entire hike up the mountain. And it was one of the coolest things. It was just awesome that everyone was able to do it. We all just packed food for the day and started climbing this mountain. And it was just an awesome time to get to know each other better and just talk about what we had done so far and just kind of support each other as we're going up this. It was not easy at all. But once we got up there, it was just so worth it. The views were awesome and it was really cool.
Yeah, once you get to the top of La Citadel, you can see forever. It's one of the tallest spots in Haiti, so you can really just see the coastline and you can see all the beauty that Haiti has to offer.
We're both volleyball players at the University of Akron, and looking to do a study abroad trip was difficult, but we found one to go through Haiti for a week over winter break.
And actually, it's an added bonus. Zeke decided to plan a volleyball game against the Haitians. And the Haitians are actually extremely good at volleyball, so it was quite the experience when we got down there, and definitely a big rivalry.
We also had the president of the AK Rowdies along with us for the trip, and she got the crowd going. It was a great experience.
One of the greatest parts about being down there was just meeting new people down there. It was just really cool to get to know them. One of my absolute favorite things that we did was one day we split off into groups, small groups, 2 or 3 of the Institution Univers kids to 2 or 3 University of Akron students. And we just kind of went out into Wanamint in our little groups, and they just got to show us around their city, and it was really cool. Like, it was just the best immersion I think that we got, because they just showed us everything from like the market where they go to the police station, just walking around the streets and being in it. It was definitely the most like eye-opening part, I think, for me. Like, just for them to be showing us like how proud they are of like where they are, and how excited they were just to show us everything. It was really special.
Some of the other interactions we had on campus was we would paint, was part of our service stuff that we would do, and while we were painting, some of the kids would come and hang out with us and want to help out. And being a French student here at the University of Akron, I knew a little bit of French, so I would speak in French to them, and at times they would double take at me just because I knew French, which is a common language for them. So that was really special, being able to work with them on my French and talk to them about that, as well as, you know, just working alongside them and getting to improve their school.
When the students returned from their travels, they wanted to further help the Haitian students. They founded a student organization called Zips for Haiti and are working toward helping the students of Institution Univers and the people of Haiti through fundraising efforts. Members of the organization gave details about their efforts.
When we all came back from Haiti, we started out as complete strangers, and we all became this really tight-knit group of people. And we came back and we decided to regroup one day and just get together and talk about our experiences again and kind of remember our trip. And from that meeting, an idea was born, and we decided that we wanted to start our own organization. And we had a couple of ideas on what we wanted to do with it.
Yeah. So as a group, we're called Zips for Haiti, and one of our main goals is to eventually start an endowed scholarship for an Institution Univers student, to hopefully they could come to America and study at a choice school. We'd hope at the University of Akron. We haven't got that far yet, but we have some smaller goals before we, get to that larger goal. So right now we're fundraising by using a company called Alltech. We're selling coffee, and they're $12 per bag, and $8 goes to 2 Haitian schools that Alltech funds in Haiti, and then the other $4 will go back to our organization, which in turn will be used to go to Institution Univers in the form of scholarships and maybe other ideas we come up with.
The trip to Haiti and the creation of the Zips for Haiti organization has changed the lives of these students in such a powerful way. They reflect on how these experiences have impacted them.
So we left Ohio to go down to Haiti, and the whole trip turned out to be as much of a learning experience for me as it might have been for all the people who participated on the trip. I am from Haiti, and when I was living there were a lot of things that I did not notice about my own country. And when I had to actually answer a lot of the questions that some of the students had about Haiti, it actually made me realize that yes, Haiti might have a problem, and that there are things that need to be changed. And right now, I have a lot of things in mind that I'd like to do when I go back to Haiti eventually. That if it hadn't been for that trip, I probably would have never actually thought about those things. And just the fact that all the students who are part of the student organization that we have right now are so passionate about Haiti, kind of makes me even more excited to be not only part of this organization, but it also make me want to do a lot more for Haiti.
So definitely one of the highlights of the trip for me was getting to experience and hang out with all the kids there. And it really gave me a different perspective on life, because all of the kids are so happy and so thrilled to just be together and hang out, and they just have nothing. And it just really put life in perspective for me because it teaches you to appreciate everything you have and all the opportunities that you're giving. So if anyone has a chance to experience and go to a different country and experience the culture and get to meet all these new people, I would definitely suggest it.
Spending time with the kids was definitely the highlight for me too, especially talking to them and teaching them an English class. We got to listen to all of them talk about wanting to study in America and all the majors that they were interested in. And it was just so crazy to hear how excited they are about going to school every day and being in class for as long as possible and going to this English club, which is on top of their normal school day. They want to get educated and they're so excited about it. And it really puts things into perspective, not taking education for granted.
And one of the things that Kevin told us to do, he gave us all journals in the beginning before we went on the trip. And one of the prompts, he said, when you go home, this is the last night we were there, what will you tell people when they ask you about the trip? And my response was, forget everything you think you know. Everything that people told me before I went was just wrong. Everything, obviously the poverty was there, people, it was not a good situation, but everyone was so happy. They were smiling all the time. It was totally unexpected. I had no idea that it was going to be like that. And now, coming back, I want people to know that it's not a terrible place. It's not an awful place to go. Please go on the trip. Go see for yourself. You need to have this experience. It was amazing.
So one of the biggest takeaways I think a lot of people have from this trip is that you can really find yourself on a trip like this. You met with a group of strangers, people you've never met before, and you go to a different country. You can really become or be whoever you want to be. So on a trip like this, you really discover who you really are, and I think a lot of the self-worries and the self-consciousness melts away kind of in the Haitian hot sun, and you really get to see who you are when you're interacting with the students at the school and just peers. It was just a really great experience for that, really finding yourself. As well as, for me especially, you get to see that you don't have to be the best at something or have some sort of certification or education in something to be willing to make a change. You can just do it if you have the motivation to do it. And you don't have to necessarily be a super rock star at one particular thing, but if you want to see a change, you can be that catalyst.
We hope that with this organization we can impact as many lives as possible. We have started to impact a lot of lives. The people that participated on the trip, they came back and they talk about how they learned a lot. Not only about themselves but about the world surrounding them, and it has impacted my life as well. As just a simple college kid going to school here, having had a chance to come to the United States, and right now to see that that's something that I can do to help my country, to help another student come to school just like I did, is one of the greatest things. And I just can't wait to see what the organization is going to do in the future. We do have a lot of things in mind, and I'm just so thankful to all the students who participated in the first trip, and the students that will be participating in the future trips.
For those who wish to get involved or help out, Zips for Haiti is hosting a spaghetti dinner on April 28th.